Everybody, today's topic is leadership, and it is for both middle school and high school college planning. So what is leadership and why do we need it in both middle school and high school? It's never too late if you're a high schooler or you have a high schooler, so go ahead and start looking for leadership roles that you can have. Sometimes you have to create those, and we'll talk about those more later. But leadership is important because if you were to visit some college websites, you'll see that usually in colleges' top three listed characteristics of a student that attends that college, leadership is usually one of the top three. That's important because you are trying to match the school that you're going to. It's kind of like dating. You want to be a good match. So you want to be that well-rounded student that they cannot, that they can't refuse to have as as part of their student body. So how do you get that? Well, there's obvious choices where you have clubs and organizations that are schools and community, like Boy Scouts, and Boy Scouts earn their little awards and stuff like that. So that's a good way to get leadership on your resume. Girl Scouts, same thing. You can become an officer in any club that you are in. For instance, if you're in a club, the general rule is that you need to have an office. You need to be an office holder. You need to be in a leadership role. So you could do that also in organizations. Is there a certain organization that you're a part of, kind of like what I had said about a community organization like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that you can show that you have leadership in that group? If you are an athlete, how can you show leadership? Well, you could be assigned by your coach a captain or co-captain role. And I'll explain this a little bit further in using my son as an example. He had played lacrosse all through middle school and elementary school. And when it came to his 8th grade year, the coach basically designated every 8th grader a co-captain, which meant on his resume, he could put that he was co-captain of the lacrosse team. And does that help so much more than maybe a president or a vice president of a club? No one really knows it, but it does show that you have leadership roles that were assigned to you. And it's up to the coach to decide if that's a good role for you. But he did a pretty good job of just saying, look, if you're in 8th grade and you're going into high school, you're a captain or co-captain. And so that was a benefit to my son's resume. If you are a drum major in a band, you should be trying to attain drum major. Now that's, for me, I was in band. That's a pretty lofty goal. I don't know that I ever would have even tried to be drum major, but I was assigned a section leader in my high school. On my senior year, I was assigned to be a soprano section leader, and that did go on my resume, what little one I had at that time, because they just weren't so much, required at that time. But I was a vocal major, and so getting that section leader designation on my resume may have helped me get a vocal scholarship. I had a full vocal scholarship when I went to college my freshman year. If you are interested and you have in certain, like cornhole, like if you're interested in cornhole and you want to play cornhole with your friends, start a cornhole group. That's actually been done at my son's school. That's a club supporting an interest that you have. Maybe you're really good at gaming and you want to start a gaming club, coding club. That's something you can start as well. And when you start that club, you can designate yourself as president or a VP of the club or something like that, or chairman, however you want to name it. Usually those kind of clubs that are around the schools have to have some sort of sponsorship, so a teacher's involved as well. But at first, for example, when my daughter did not want to be in a group that did service learning because she didn't connect, she started her own group. So it's a legitimate group. We go, we have times blocked out in March and April and May already of where she's going to go serve. And she is the president of and founder of that group. So that is leadership on your resume. And it's just really not a difficult thing to attain if you can get creative about it. And the colleges love that you created your own group or your own service or leadership position in a service group like that. That's great. They love that. They want to see that you take the initiative. That's the key. What is your intention? Are you intentional in becoming a leader either in your community or middle school or high school? And how can you be recognized in leadership? How can you be recognized? Is it a counselor that designates something about you? Is it a teacher or a coach? Just like I said earlier about how they assign these titles to our positions to help us in college planning. And that's pretty much the sole purpose of why they did it. So if you're not being given these roles, go to your teacher or your community person and ask them, how can I get that role? How can I be designated as a co-captain or a section leader? Or, you could ask those questions and they will tell you, what do I need to work on? So for that's pretty much the gist of leadership. That's pretty broad brush I'm doing for this. But the next tip that we're going to have is going to be awards. Awards in middle school primarily is going to be our next tip. So I hope you guys will come back for that one and hang out with us. Thanks.